the Trump administration wages war against the Iranian nuclear program, Democrats are once again calling for impeachment because the last two were so successful.
Many on the left are echoing Republican Congressman Thomas Massey's stance that this was a de facto declaration of war and is therefore unconstitutional because Congress was not involved. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to X on Saturday, writing, "The president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment." But the idea of impeachment doesn't seem to have much traction with some of AOC's Democratic colleagues. Take a listen to Adam Schiff on CNN.
We've seen what a high bar there is to impeachment when one party in Congress, the Republican Party, is willing to work completely in lockstep with the president. I think the better remedy, frankly, is if Republicans will show any backbone whatsoever, is to pass a war powers resolution to prevent any further military action that is not purely defensive, that is designed to protect service members' lives, American lives, and our interests. That, to me, ought to be the most immediate step.
Criticism is coming in from Republicans as well. In response to the call for impeachment, Marjorie Taylor Greene shot back at AOC, saying, "Shut up, you pathetic little hypocrite. You fully supported our military and IC running the proxy war against Russia in Ukraine. You voted to fund the Ukraine war under your president with dementia. You don't get to play anti-war and moral outrage anymore."
Meantime, Intel officials are crying foul about Trump bypassing Congress in a different way. The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Jim Himes, directing this post to Trump on X. Quote, "According to the Constitution we are both sworn to defend, my attention to this matter comes before bombs fall, full stop." Himes is a member of the so-called Gang of Eight, that's high-level members of Congress, who are supposed to be briefed on classified intelligence matters. Democrats say Republican members were indeed briefed, while they, the Democrats, were left in the dark.
I think the proper hypocrisy charge is not really against AOC, but against, I think you could maybe make that charge against, for instance, Nancy Pelosi. I saw old tweets of hers, celebrating the Libya intervention, which also should have been voted on by Congress, and then, now condemning this. Again, I am, with Thomas Massey and with AOC and with other people, with Ro Khanna, I think this, at the very least, needs to be voted on. This is an offensive war against a sovereign nation that did not attack us first. You're right that Trump can respond to attacks on us without necessarily going through Congress, although he should eventually talk to Congress about it. And we can also aggressively pursue war against terrorists across the Middle East as part of the previous authorization to fight the global war on terror. Iran is a different animal. We need a separate declaration if we're going to do this, and that would be good that'd be healthy for our democracy, because then people who vote for and against it can be held accountable by the voters later on. So I see why Congress doesn't want to do that, with a few principled iconoclasts notwithstanding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, Iran is a sovereign nation, which the United States has just bombed. There was no national emergency in the sense of an attack, which is the kind of thing that a president can use as permission to not have congressional approval. If you look at the War Powers Act, there isn't really any serious doubt that this is in breach of it, or that congressional approval should have been sought for this. Now, in terms of the politics of it, I'm not entirely sure that argument resonates with the public at large. I mean, I think sometimes that may be seen as a little bit of a arcane issue. I don't see it that way, but I'm not sure that it's a big thing for the general public.
Where do you think the Democrats are going to end up on this? Because Republicans are, it is Trump's party. It's mostly united behind Trump. Right. I think some in the MAGA base are not totally pleased with this, but they're not going to rebel against Trump over it. Unless it goes on and gets really bad, as it did with Iraq. Everybody eventually did turn on George W. Bush. So it's going to be a Republican Party that I think is mostly in support of this, with not everybody, and there will continue to be arguments between Tucker Carlson type people and so on. Does that mean the Democrats are going to be the party that is against this? I mean, some of its leadership is not against it. Chuck Schumer is not against it.
No, and I think that is why there is this concentration on the impeachment idea from some people, which I think you can make an abstract argument for, but like I say, I'm skeptical of its political benefits. But the problem, again, gets back to the thing that we have previously seen during the assault on Gaza, where you have, among elected officials in the Democratic Party, a lot who are very strongly supportive of Israel and some who are not, and that split runs deep in the Democratic Party. I think it runs deeper among Democrats than it does among Republicans, who are broadly very supportive of Israel, and just the split there is about interventionism. So I think that Democrats generally will be watching this to see, does it go really bad? Is the US lured into a bigger conflict? If that is the case, then I think politically, that gives the Democrats more room for maneuver. Right now, they're stuck between the pro-Israel and more Israel-skeptical faction, it seems to me.
And public polling is right now all over the place. I saw some polling, I think, from the Washington Post this morning that suggested people are pretty in support of the strikes. Now, again, after the immediate aftermath of doing the strikes, everyone feels,
right,
mission accomplished, very happy about it. So that could change very rapidly. But, there's support. Also in the abstract, yes, there's support for them not having a nuclear weapon. If you were just asked me, do you want them to have a nuclear weapon or not? Well, of course not, but it's what are we willing to do to stop that is really relevant here.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we don't love North Korea having a nuclear weapon either, but we don't
crazy.
bomb them to stop it. In any event, in other news, J.D. Vance resorts to name-calling with California Senator Alex Padilla. We'll get into that next.